Amazon just paid me $13,996, and in this video I want to break down exactly how I allocate these funds to go to taxes, paying myself, my operating expenses, and everything else that goes into selling on Amazon. The first thing I do is figure out all the books that I sold in the last 2 weeks. So Amazon pays you in 2 week increments bi-weekly, and the first thing I want to do is figure out what's sold in that time frame from September 2nd to the 16th, which is today, and then how much it actually costed me. What were my cost of goods to sell all of those? So I use a software called Inventory Lab, and I can easily just toggle for the last 2 weeks to see what my cost of goods were to sell everything that I sold, and that turned out to be $4,474. So I take that first off of my top line revenue. So that gets me to $9,522 of real revenue to allocate to myself, to my owner's pay, taxes, operating expenses, and profits. I didn't mention this at first, but I do use the profit first method. This is like one of the best books I've ever read in my life as far as running a business. If you have any sort of business, I highly recommend reading this. This makes paying yourself and having your operating expenses structured in a way so simple. It's ridiculous. So the first thing that I do with my $9,522 is put 5% aside for profit. So that gives me $476.10. That goes into my profit bucket. The next thing I do is pay myself from that real revenue. So I'm paying myself 15% of that, and that turns out to be $1,428 that I'm going to pay myself, that I can do whatever I want with, and whatever I want to do with it, right? Then the next thing I do is take 20% for taxes, put that into a high yield. It gets like 4% to save for tax season come February, March of next year. So 20% of that is $1,904.40. And then the last thing I'll do is take 20% for operating expenses. So this is for paying for all my softwares that I use, my prep center to pay for everything. And that comes out to also $1,904.40. So that still leaves me 40% of the funds to mess with. So usually what I do is take that 40% and put it and replenish back into my cost of goods. So that leaves me with $3,808.80 that I'm going to put back into my cost of goods bucket. And that's the money that I'm going to be using to buy more inventory over the next 2 weeks. So this is my process that I do every 2 weeks. I go through down a list, pay myself, put money aside for profit. Usually for the profit, I'll buy I'll use that 5% to buy Bitcoin, because I have a goal of getting to 0.21 Bitcoin over the next 3 to